Today we will discuss these two topics, minerals and rocks and exogenic processes. So this is our learning competency. Identify common rock forming minerals using their physical and chemical properties and classify rocks into igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. Minerals are naturally occurring substances with a definite geometric arrangement of atoms and molecules. And magma is the main source of minerals in the Earth's crust. So through magma, it can create crystals. And rocks also are made up of minerals, made up of magma. So rocks are classified as either igneous, sedimentary, or metamorphic according to its characteristics like hardness, texture, color, and density. Now let's identify what is igneous, what is sedimentary, and what is metamorphic. So first is igneous rock. So igneous rock are formed when molten magma pushes up into the crust or right through it. And the name igneous comes from the word ignis, which means fire in Latin. So are you familiar with this series or with this anime series Fairy Tail? One of the dragon here named Ignis or Ignil, uh, his power is fire. So by that name, okay, by his name, Ignil or Ignis, it means fire. So Ignis from the word Latin, which means fire. So as you can see in the picture, there is a volcano, erupts a magma. So the magma that erupted by the volcano and become hardened, it will become extrusive igneous rock. So one type of extrusive igneous rock is basalt. So basalt is one type of material that used in creating or making streets in the highway or streets. Okay, kanang spalto. So spalto is a basalt. Then the rocks that inside of the volcano or inside of our inner core or inside of our inner part of our earth is called intrusive igneous rock. So one example of intrusive igneous rock is the basalt. And basalt is also known as marble. So marble intrusive rocks can be also called as metamorphic rocks because intrusive rocks are being pressured and heated inside of the inner part of the earth. So you have to remember in extrusive, it means that, so you have to remember in extrusive, the name itself, X means outside. So the rocks that outside and hardened, so the rocks are outside. So the rocks are outside and hardened, while intrusive, so from the word itself, in means inside. So the rocks are hardened inside of the inner part of the earth. So next is sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary rocks are formed from layers of sediment laid down in lakes or seas. So from the word itself, sediment or debris. So like for example, the igneous rock been heated by the rains many times. And then the sediments of igneous rocks will goes to the lakes or seas. So these are example of sedimentary rocks: sandstone, limestone, and mudstone. So if you can see its appearance, it is lightly light, while in igneous rocks it is lightly dark. So next is the metamorphic rocks are formed by the action of heat and pressure on existing rocks over long periods of time. So like for example, the igneous rock and sedimentary rocks are uh, pressured and being heated. So this is an example of, so it will become metamorphic rock. So you have to remember that that rocks is metamorphic when it is heated and pressured. So this is an example of metamorphic rocks: slate, marble, and schist. So this is an example of metamorphic rock. So you can see in its texture that metamorphic rocks are the combination of igneous and sedimentary rocks. There is some part of it is light and there is some part of it is dark. So kanang nasagol na siya. So that's how you can identify the difference of metamorphic, sedimentary, and igneous rocks texture. So here is our assessment. So I want you to answer in activity 3.1 in your workbook. Now we finish discuss the minerals and rocks. We will go to our next and last topic that we are going to discuss, which is the exogenic processes. So this is our learning competency. Explain how the products of weathering are carried away by erosion and deposited elsewhere. So exogenic processes, so from the word itself, exo means from the outside. Therefore, it is where the breakdown of rocks can be seen outside. So example of exogenic processes is so one of the sample of exogenic processes is the weathering. So weathering is the weakening and breakdown of rocks in small pieces is called weathering. Changes in temperature and pressure may cause layers of rocks to expand, resulting in cracks or joints. So these are the types of weathering. First is the physical weathering. So from the word is a physical, it only changed by physical. So example, the rocks weathered caused by ice in cracks. Okay? Kanang naay magpundong nga tubig or naay magpundong nga ice or either ice or tubig sa rocks, it can cause rocks to crack. Next is chemical weathering. So from the word itself, chemical. So it is caused by acid rain. So like the monuments or in the statue, Okay, it can cause a deformation to the structure of the statue because of the acid of the rain. Then last is the biological weathering. So from the word itself, biological. So one of example of in the biological weathering is that caused by plant roots in cracks. So biological, so plants is also a type of biology. Okay, from the word itself, biological, so biology or bio means life. So one of example it is the plants. Okay, the roots of the plants can cause, or the roots of the plant can cause cracks on the stone. So with that, those sediments from the rocks being weathered are carried away by the wind, water, or other natural agents and deposited elsewhere. So those sediments that deposited elsewhere are called sedimentary rocks. Now, why is it important to study rocks? What can we gain good at it in our lives? Is it really important, especially to geologists? They study rocks because they contain clues about what the Earth was like in the past. We can assemble a historical record of a planet and trace what happened before. Same as in our country. Same as in our country. Like the prehistoric in our country when we were colonized. We can get the clues in the rocks because there are some fossils imprinted on it, especially in the caves where our ancestors usually carve something on the stone of the cave. So that is the important why we need to study rocks. In this assessment, in your workbook, Science Connects, do answer of the following activities. Activity 4.1 to Activity 4.4.